price list for the
Not yet.
defibrillator for Thorn and
Yeah. So
I couldn't download that.
under this stuff.
In the survey.
Are you going to require some grant money?
We might.
I haven't seen that either.
Put something in.
Have you got one?
Now.
I'll put it there, we can go and look at it.
Is this in February or after that?
In old days, you'd be reading money.
I wouldn't have thought nothing about it. Would have thought, let's get on with that.
Sorry, Pat.
I couldn't, well, is that important? Have you accessed that?
No idea.
That being there as a food outlet? It's in the front page, isn't it?
Sorry, what was that, Richard? I missed that.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I got it. I was looking at the second page.
What was?
Community shop.
Sorry?
I thought the community shop, I thought it might be in the retail food and drink outlets.
It's a miserable survey, really, isn't it?
We could add potatoes, eggs. Onto that list.
Kids work, I mean, it isn't, I don't know what the survey, purpose of the survey is, I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, Section 106 grant.
Yep.
The legal document has been signed by both parties, and I have had an email confirming that legal have told finance to send us the money.
Hallelujah.
The what? I missed that part. I can't hear a damn thing. Sorry.
Please.
Next week, maybe, we'll have the money in the bank, and as soon as it arrives, I will get fresh deals, whatever they're called, onto the job. Okay?
Excellent.
Are they going to, did they agree to do it at the price, original price?
Yeah, they maintained so far, every time I've asked them, they said they'll do it at the price that they promised last year. Obviously, if they backtrack on that now, I'll come and let you know first. Webmaster's report. Jane has produced what is probably her last ever webmaster's report. We had a bit of a peak in May and June, and that's mainly to do with the Jubilee, people checking it for all the activity that was around there. But we're still sort of hovering somewhere between 1,500, 2,000 hits every single month. So it's still doing a good job. Don't know if anybody's got any comments they want to make on that, have they?
Apart from, again, thanks for doing such a good job. I don't know what we're going to call with the next one, but we've certainly had a very good webmaster looking after it. During the time she's done it.
It would be nice, I think, if you showed your appreciation when she goes. I know we got told off once, didn't we? Because I bought some flowers for the departing councillor, and an auditor told me off that we're not allowed to do that. But I don't mind being told off again. That's not a problem.
We show our appreciation of what she's done, and I don't know what you do, or whatever. But also the number. Can I finish this? Sorry. Can I finish this? The number of hours she's put on for 78 hours, 88 hours on doing it, and she hasn't received any money. She's never asked for any money, but the new one's going to be paid, I don't know how much. So, I do think that, I know she hasn't mentioned it, whatever, but she's put a lot of hours and a lot of time to it, that she ought to be paid something towards it.
I agree. Not that I have a vote, but she has done an awful lot of work.
Yeah. And I just...
Yeah.
I'm proposing that we pay her something, because we're paying everybody else.
I would propose that we pay her maybe even a bit more than what we did originally. She handed it back.
She handed it back, yeah.
Well, I still think that ought to go in that direction.
Yeah. The same sum of money?
I would think so.
An annual sum of money? Yeah.
But I was also thinking of something else.
Yeah.
Could I make a suggestion?
No, you're fine.
No, not about that. But we're looking at, well, yeah, maybe, but it's also about pat leaving as well. And we ought to have, I think, a little thank you evening. And in the, perhaps in the skit alley in the pub or something like that, get on and put some food up. We're going to have a new parish clerk, we're going to have a new webmaster. It would be nice if we all met together socially, you know, handed over and rather than formally, so we can chat and all the rest of it.
That will be when we organise a new webmaster, the new,
Have the
yeah,
new ones out
I agree, yeah, that's, yeah, that sounds good,
Introduction.
yeah.
And we just have an evening where
Yeah.
we use the skittle alley. We can't get skills, but you know, I think it would be nice if we had some sort of socially we take our partners.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, okay.
The other two,
But that apart,
That would say,
I do think we need a
being
vote.
told off once more, wouldn't it? Then because well, it wouldn't be him doing it.
What's that?
Pat being told off for doing something, but
No.
it would be just another meeting.
But we've got to decide, make a decision on what we're paying her, on the hours what she's done.
The last time, was it 500?
It was 500 a year we were paying her.
I would propose that again.
I'll second that, if it's enough.
Speak.
I know people do nothing, but we're going to pay the new webmaster,
It is what it is, George.
I know.
You know,
but do very well.
is everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, done and dusted. Would you like, I can't really say this, could you put your fingers in your ears, Pat?
I'm a deaf old sod
Would you
anyway.
like something, Jim and I talked about this, would you like something like that? Why not?
Yeah, I think so. What? Oh, the money you mean?
No,
No, you mean
I mean the glass.
oh, no, the glasses. Yeah. I mean a gift would be like that.
Okay. I will have a word with my contacts.
Okay.
Discount on 2 lots.
And
Get a discount on 2 lots.
that's what I was recommending.
I can't remember what I've got on here. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've got one or two other things. We've got a road closure happening,
Yeah.
1st to the 8th of August. I've been in touch with the transport people. We will still have a bus, and what it will do is we'll use the Parkham Road, it will turn round here and it will go back out the same way. So there'll be a little bit of a longer journey for people, but it won't get disrupted.
It's going to be a nightmare
Well done, Pat.
with all the
Yeah, thank you.
Developers busy and
construction traffic. People are going to have to be extremely careful on these roads
Yeah.
during that period of time.
But what they're doing is patching work, so I'm assuming they're going to be doing a little bit at a time, and yeah, moving up. Yeah.
It seems to be the way that the new subcontractor works
Right.
around the county by closing roads, so they do away with the danger of people coming in. The only thing I would add to that, I was going to see if I can give them a ring, as well we get some of the drains cleared while they're at it.
Right. Okay.
Well, there's one-
Sounds like a good
one
idea.
over all the hills been blocked for 4 or 5 years.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't had a quick,
Yeah.
I haven't had a quick look at your, was the bit about the traffic survey, you sent a circular, I think, didn't you?
Traffic survey.
Yeah, the ATC survey, and I guess that's for the industrial design.
Steve Sherry.
Oh no, that's the industrial developments.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we'll come to that later. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So I thought you were talking about the questionnaire thing we did.
Okay.
I'm just scribbling. The telephone box, I've found an electrician who can do both this and Thornhill Head, so I'll deal with both of them together. Phil Priest is going to put up a board outside the telephone box, and then we'll move the defibrillator from the bus shelter to outside of the telephone box. And then inside the box, he's putting in shelves on 2 sides. So we'll have a mini library in there, and I'll do some signage to go in there. Richard, did you say you had a laminator? Somebody's got a laminator, haven't you? You've got a laminator. Might come and ask you to do a bit of laminating for me sometime.
Can I ask, where is the telephone box going to be situated? Where you used to be?
The telephone box? No,
Sorry?
It's got the signs on already.
It's all right.
yeah, it's there.
So there's stuff going to be in it now? Is it all-
Yeah, there's going to be a library inside it.
See, that's what I'm worried about. You're going to be knocked down again.
It's got to stay there because we're going to use the power supply and they're not going to
Right.
charge us for it.
Yeah,
So,
To use
yeah.
the
yeah.
So no machinery can turn there on.
I'm intending, and I hope this is okay, David, that we keep the power supply in the bus shelter, because I'd like to keep the light in there. There's no point in having a light outside of the telephone box, I don't think. I just don't think it's necessary. But quite useful to have that in there at night, in the winter. Yeah? Yeah. So the same electrician, so I think I'm going to be moving on to the defibrillator at Thornhill Head, but we might as well do it at the same time, because the same electrician also came out with me to see Mark West last week, and we've worked out where that one's going to go and what work we need to get it erected and what have you. I then tried to order a defibrillator, and we'd agreed that we were going to get the same G5 power heart model that we've got here. Well, apparently there's anything up to a 9-month delay at the moment because of the microconductor chips not being available. But I've got one company that could provide a semi-automatic, which means you've got to press the button when you want the thing to work immediately, and another company who says they've got a delivery of them coming in next week.
So what have we got at the moment?
What have we got at the moment?
Yeah.
It's Power Heart G5 automatic.
Automatic.
Yeah.
So I would thought we want to stay the same.
I would like to stay the same, personally.
Is that the same make?
It's the same make. It won't come direct from Cardiac Science.
No.
There's still Cardiac Science machines, but they now use third-party suppliers.
Yeah.
So I've got quotes from 3 different third-party suppliers. And the quotes have come in at all much of a muchness, really. Yeah, that's between £1,700–1,800 all in. So preferably I would like to go for the automatic model that we think we can get next week.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, is everyone happy with that? Yeah, okay.
If you keep all the same, then you've got everything's the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And we've got the money will come out Bruce's fund, don't you?
We've got money in Bruce's fund, yes, absolutely. It won't, I don't think it will cover all of it, but it will cover most of it.
I asked Trevor, because he's a trustee there. Trevor, would you have any objections that when this was put in, we actually publicly say where the money comes from?
I'll check with the boss. Yeah.
You see what I'm getting at, don't you? Because I think people ought to be aware that people in this parish have less legacies for the community.
Haven't we mentioned it before?
No, I don't think we put a
I
name
suppose
to
we
it.
can get round by saying it's legacy, so no names need be
If
used.
you don't want to use the name, then yeah, we'll do that.
That's probably the best way.
Yeah, okay.
It's up to your family at the end of the day.
But I think it's important if people understand it comes from a legacy left for this purpose.
Yeah,
Rather
rather
than,
than
you know, we're just
Not
using
using
money from the taxpayer.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay.
For those of you who weren't here at 7 o'clock, we just had a meeting of the personnel subcommittee. We've had 5 applications altogether for the jobs of webmaster and parish clerk. I'm not obviously going to state any names. We will be interviewing 3 people for the webmaster's post next week on the 21st, and we'll be interviewing 1 person for the clerk's post on the following Thursday, on the 28th. Okay?
So the 21st, where are you going to be doing that?
Well, it's going to be in the schoolroom, in the church schoolroom, and Jim has kindly offered himself as a host or hostess or whatever for the evening. He's going to entertain them in the church, ply them with champagne and things like that. I think maybe sing to them. But he will in fact keep them apart and then just show them where to go when we need them.
We do it professionally.
Yeah.
Read a sermon.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so, really.
Who's doing the interviewing?
The flashing sign, you might have noticed.
Hang on.
Oh.
Richard's got
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, who's doing the interviewing? Are you and...
Jane and myself will both be on the interview panel for the webmaster with Andrew and Barbara. For the clerk's post, it will just be Andrew, Barbara and myself. Yep. Okay. We didn't want to overwhelm people, but we did think it was a good idea to have Jane there on the webmasters because she's just so close to the job and knows what it's all about.
And we want the gender balance for the rest of the team.
Yeah. Yeah, the flashing sign, we now have an empty pole up the road here. I've had to take it down because it's got to be sent back to them. We clambered about on it, was it yesterday, Jim? I think, yeah, it was yesterday. I had an engineer on the end of the phone, sent him a few more photos. He couldn't get it going through me anyway, so we've got to send it off and hopefully get it sorted.
Tell me, do you have to climb ladders for that? Did you have to climb up a ladder to take it
Yeah,
out? Well,
yeah.
You could have given me a ring of a cherry picker anytime.
No.
We don't like room test to stop.
Well, it was health and safety. You can always ring me for using cherry.
Thank you, George.
For that
Cheers.
job, because we ain't getting any younger, you know.
No, I know. So I discovered.
So the repairs and who's paying for do we have to pay for the repairs?
We will have to pay for the repair because the damage was basically done by us. Although I am going to argue as much as I possibly can that there's a design fault. Because what happened is that Jim opened the door in order to change the battery. Well, all of the gubbins that operate the thing are on the inside of the door, not the inside of the box, with the cable that connects to the battery, which is inside the box, just stretched across the empty space. Well, of course, the wind whipped it, ripped all the cables out, pulled them off all the pins, and then we had a game of which bit fits where, do you suppose? But what he thinks has happened is that more damage has been done to the board behind. Probably some solders have gone or whatever, because it's just not working at all now. But what it needs really is some sort of chain or strap that prevents that from happening.
I've got some old bits of chain, I can seem to do it.
Yeah, if it comes back without one, perhaps we'll fit one. Just, yeah. Couple more bits I've got on my list. I didn't have the industrial units on this agenda because I didn't think I was going to have anything to report, but Stephen Sherry has now told me he's instructed a company to carry out the traffic survey.
Yeah.
And they're down.
Have they done
They're
it?
down.
Oh, right, okay.
So I'm not quite sure. Do we go like hell over them or do we slow up?
Well, you run your sheep up there the other day.
Yeah, that was confusing.
The faster you go over it, the bigger the gap will have to be.
Oh,
yeah.
Go slow then, go slow.
You want to go as slow as possible, really. Yeah.
What sort of money is that going to be?
It'll be £400 plus VAT.
Oh, not too bad.
That's not too painful, and that'll come out of that fund that we transferred over from Thornhill Headmore, if you remember.
Yeah.
And we should get the survey. Well, you say that the stuff's down already.
Yep.
So the survey takes about a week, and then it's another 2 weeks before we get the results. So by the time we get the next meeting. Should have some results.
Have we any feedback from our county council regarding the question of the
No,
speed limit there?
no.
Sorry, Jim, I missed all that. I can't hear, please.
Well, we asked our county council. You know, one of the problems we got is because, believe it or not, the speed limit is 60 miles an hour.
Yeah,
Because it's just an
yeah,
ordinary
yeah,
road.
yeah.
Is that because of that, the amount of room that we need to push back
Yeah,
from the road
yeah, yeah,
to give clear vision is greater than if the speed limit was lower.
So, yeah.
And so we've approached our county councillor to see if we can find out if the county council will play ball and move the village speed limit out to that side, because it costs us a lot less time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, I will ask him again.
I still think we can keep pushing on that side.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I think it's quite important because it
yeah, it is.
really is, would cost a lot less if we had a speed limit on the
Yeah.
other side.
Anything else on that front?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention the flagpole. Remember we talked briefly about a flagpole last time?
Yeah, I have something that I want to add to that,
Yeah.
but I'll leave it until we go around the other bits.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. All I was going to say was, I wasn't going to put a line under this now because I've had some feedback via Facebook and just about 100% of anybody who said anything is in favour of a flagpole. But of course they don't have to buy it and maintain it. But
Yes, I expect.
yeah,
I didn't modify it, but that's what it is, yeah. I haven't looked at it now.
what I will do is I will do a report for the next time round, which will give you some of the comments and the feedback that I've had. But between now and then, could you yourselves think about it and whether or not you're in favour of it? If you are, where it should go, how tall you think it should be?
I'm going to add a little bit then.
Yeah,
I had a meeting with Toby Russell from the Air Ambulance.
oh yeah,
One, to make sure that he's happy with the field now reinstated, and two, to work out the division of the field. During the discussion, he was talking about which way the wind was blowing and which way the helicopter came in. And the thought occurs to me that we could put a pole up very close to the light
yeah.
to put a windsock on.
Oh right, yes. Yeah,
And we could also use that same pole, because then you now have these clamps you put around the pole that have rotators on them, so the flag is always
with the wind.
With the wind,
Yeah.
so that they don't wrap up.
Yeah,
I thought, well, we got a pole with a windsock on, and we could have a flag underneath it if somebody wants it, and combine the two. But I was more concerned with a windsock than anything else.
yeah.
Would the air ambulance put the windsock up?
No, we would have to do it. He said he normally because of the way the wind blows, they come over the new estate as they come into the field, as they come into the wind. Yeah, they come into the wind. But it was just a thought that we could have combined the two, which would help the air ambulance.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about having a flag and a windsock on the same pole.
No, it won't like a...
I understand the practicalities of that.
Well, it's not just the practicalities. I mean, take that when the Queen, God bless her soul, leaves us, we're going to have to fly, if we've got a flagpole, a Union flag, and it needs to be either up or down, depending on the occasion. You can't have it competing with a windsock. If you've got a windsock on top of your flagpole, your flag's always going to be at half mast. Well, that's just not appropriate, especially if it's a Union flag.
Yeah.
Or if you've got a flag up there and there's a windsock on it, you can't lower it to half mast.
Windsock would be on top.
Yeah.
My view is I understand what you're going with the windsock down here, and I understand the need for that, and if that's what we want to do, that's fine. But having a flag over the flag, if you're going to do it, it should be in the centre of the village. We're in the centre of the village, we haven't got big enough village green, and also somebody's got to put a flag up there and look after it.
I was only trying to combine the two, you know.
Yeah.
If
Didn't
you're
there
not
used to
happy
be
with that,
one-
then we won't bother.
I quite like the idea of a windsock, mind you.
Yeah,
Quite yeah.
Didn't there used to be a flagpole on top of the church?
I think there used to be years ago. but
Yeah.
I think there was.
Sure, why can't I put one up there?
Well, because bits of the tower.
The tower in the stable in on George.
Don't stand underneath the tower, is the word I
Yeah.
say.
You might bring a tower down.
I don't think we were
Again.
planning it on.
The place should be condemned.
I was looking around out the front here this evening to see where a flagpole might go. And most of the corners you might want to tuck it into have got power cables over the top of them. It's quite
There isn't
tricky.
anywhere really.
No,
Yeah.
From, the only
hard to believe
why I
that.
sort of said
Electric
down on
poles.
the field, because next to the light, it would have been all right.
Yeah.
Not in the way of the helicopter anyway.
No.
You can put it on in the castles.
Can I ask the question I was going to ask, and the members of course there were talking about?
Yeah.
The helicopter, and since you've been talking to Toby. When you talked to Toby, I saw the newsletter, I talked to Pat about it. You see the newsletter, the new newsletter?
I haven't had a chance to read that yet.
Well, on there, they're asking for 2 contact numbers.
Yeah.
And Barry notes, tests Doppelsoft, tests that light every Monday. And I understand from Barry that when the system doesn't work, i.e. because they switch the light on from the helicopter as it approaches the field, they need to contact somebody in the village to switch the light on manually.
Yeah.
And Barry's willing to take that role on.
Well,
Hang on, and so is Richard Self to support him, I understand. And I just wanted to know if we could, Toby sent me an email, so I just wanted to know from Toby, you know, do they want, because it wasn't clear in the newsletter what they wanted the telephone numbers for.
well,
I mean, if it was a contact on day-to-day business, it would be you and the parish clerk. But on a hands-on sort of, you know, we want light on business, it can be Barry Notes.
the communication I had with Toby, because I rang him about the trench digging and all the rest of it, he said, look, I don't care, I've got an email address, and he said, I don't care how many emails we get as regards the field and safety. So I don't care whether we get half a dozen of them saying the same thing. Doesn't matter. If it's a danger, I want to know. And that's it. But if I can see the point of a dedicated set of people, and if we start to use an emergency plan, we have to have some battery-powered lights to get the helicopter down. Because if we get a power cut, that'll be that. So we'll have to have an alternative. So yes, we may need somebody to act as a coordinator for the whole shooting
I
match.
mean, Barry was talking about the fact that sometimes the system on the helicopter, you know, fails,
Yeah.
and they can't switch the lights on, and they need to phone somebody who's
Yeah.
close by, who'll jump out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning to switch
Yeah.
the lights on.
Well, we're going to have to sort that out.
Yeah,
as I say,
Yeah, all right.
with the whole thing.
No, I just,
I think that would go on the emergency
Yeah.
plan
Yeah.
when that's,
Yeah.
yeah,
It'll
done.
all go
It
together
would.
with that,
Yeah.
I think.
It would.
But as a general rule, they want to know if anything goes on the field at all that would create a problem with the helicopter landing in the dark.
what about this play area then?
Sorry?
What about the play area, or
no,
the playground?
yeah.
That's gonna be
Well,
alright,
Sorry?
that's gonna be alright, is
Yeah,
it?
it's top
Fitness
order,
area.
it's out of the way.
Anyway.
That will affect
They'll be blowed back in the school playground.
Alright.
Yeah. What I've talked about, George, is marking out a
H.
five-a-side pitch at the top end of the field. I think they're quite happy then to use the lower end
The helicopter.
for the helicopter between that and the planting.
I'm surprised he even asked us to put a big H yet for, you know.
I
for-
did say that I'll put an H there, and he said, don't bother, I'm
Oh.
not interested.
Right, fair enough. Right, just wondering.
Well, they got the light, you see, as long as they got the light, they're happy, because that's quite a big, bright light. But we will have to make an alternative arrangement should the power
Yeah.
go, as we had
Yeah. looks like Pat haven't got any zip wire, so it won't be a lot of...
3 times.
Still
George,
sulking about
I will
it.
get you a zip wire, George.
Okay, let's move on. Sorry, I've digressed a little bit.
Yeah, getting back to the flagpole type issue, you also mentioned that there was a logo for Buckland Brewer,
There is.
and somebody else obviously picked that up from the last meeting.
Right.
I didn't put it on Facebook, but somebody did. And there was quite a bit of interest for that as well.
Okay.
I think perhaps it would be a nice idea to take a look at it.
Richard's found one that he's got on his
No,
phone.
Oh, not the
The one that...
the fallen
my mother's
Madonna
old
with the
boss
big,
modified-
yeah,
My mother's old boss,
right.
John, modified, so it wasn't quite so...
Oh, right. Well, yeah, maybe we do need to modify it for the 21st century.
Well,
So, yeah,
I've got it somewhere on a cricket fixture list that I did
Right.
when we had a cricket
Yeah.
club here. So I'll dig one of those out. I've probably got one.
could yeah, dig it out and let me have it, and then I'll put it all together in a sort of
Yeah, I mean that's based on the
report.
Brewer family.
right. Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
Sorry, just going back to that flag, I mean, this is a high building. Couldn't you shove one on the end of one up here, David?
I was going to suggest one of those big mountain buttons, you know, that goes out,
Yeah.
maybe, either off
Mm.
the church or off
Yeah.
the, it's in the centre.
With the
Yeah.
data of the church, I mean, these are a big building, centre of the village.
That sounds like I have to fill in a form on the system.
Well, you can't poo-poo it, because,
That I suspect will
Following the
require
survey.
planning commission.
Well, that's not a survey.
well,
You haven't asked everybody, you just go to Facebook.
That's right.
but I'm just saying that there wasn't anything negative.
Well, they won't bother, they just press a button, yeah. They don't have to do anything.
It's
No,
not
that's-
what you
Get
want.
the listing people kicking up about the church anyway. So it's listed.
Yeah.
The church is listed, that's it. They were.
Right, hang on, we're going all round and round a circle.
Yeah, yeah. Do apologise.
The best thing to do with this subject is leave it alone for the moment.
Yeah, we'll come back to it another time. Last thing for me is just next month, August, is going to be your annual grants awarding session.
Yeah.
So I have advertised it, yeah, in Village Scene and website and places like that. I've only had 2 applications so far. So could you sort of just talk to any organisations you're
There'll be a few more. I think.
responsible for or whatever? Yeah.
I see that there's a new community developer in Torrington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've invited him to come out to one of the coffee mornings
All right.
on the Wednesday the 27th.
Can you spread an email around so we can all have it?
He's done that.
A new community development officer, you know, there was that under, to do with social prescribing.
The Torrington 100 or whatever.
Yeah, Torrington 100, there's a new person.
We've
taking
covered
over.
all the outlying parishes as well.
So I've asked him to come along, I say on Wednesday the 27th, when we got coffee morning, so if anybody knows a coffee.
The other thing that I noticed of most importance was the launch of the new electronic data for your health record.
No idea. Say it again. Sorry, Andrea.
North Devon Hospital and Exeter Hospitals have launched a new facility where you can sign up to read your medical records online. Now, I did the form fill in online yesterday, and this afternoon somebody rang me from the RD&E to confirm who I was and emailed me a password so I can get into it. That's how quickly it was done. But you'll be able to look at all your medical records all online, and that's been launched now. And that's anybody. It's called My Care. My Care. So that will do all your medical records, yours, everybody.
You won't be able to read them if it's on there.
Sorry.
You won't be able to read it if it's written by a doctor.
Well, no, it won't be in that form. But I thought that was quite important that we should be
No, that was all on my list. Thank you very much.
I've done the telephone box. Done the telegraph. Report on emergency plan meeting.
Yeah, do you want me to- yeah, we had a little meeting here on the 30th of June. Jo Miles and her sort of inner team, which is Hen and Lou Stavely Brown and Lee Badger Honey, have put together what I think is a very good first draft.
Yeah,
It's a few omissions,
yeah.
a few obvious things that they've not put in, and one or two bits that we tweaked whilst we were at the meeting. They're going away, they're going to talk to George, I know, about the snow warden and try and
Yeah.
get all of that in there. I think most of what George does as a snow warden is kind of pre-emergency rather than the all-out emergency that this document's going for, but
It depends on how quickly it snows.
yeah.
You can't.
What is important is that we get it all documented, because
Yeah.
it's like everything that George does, George knows about and nobody else does. If it's documented as part of the emergency plan, it's somewhere so that somebody else can go to it if necessary.
I've got a few concerns in there.
Yeah.
There's no point going through them now.
No.
I think it's,
The other major concern is I don't see fauna lead mentioned anywhere.
No.
We seem to be basing this around the village. And
Down the village.
To be fair to them, and I expect that even I was the biggest critic.
Oh, yeah,
They have sort of looked at it as a parish, and they see the parish a team of people, whether they can get a team of people, I don't know. But their belief is that they can actually get a team of people which would represent various areas of the parish, and not everybody would come from the village. So from their point of view, I think they were looking at it.
We did talk about it. We said that there needs to be somebody on that CET that represents Thornhill Head.
It's not all about people, it's also if you are going to use, I mean, one of the things is that the emergency group shouldn't be in the same building as the people if you're going to use it as a refuge.
That's right. Yeah, I think that was something I picked up. Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to get around that in this village.
Yeah.
With, heating and if you're going to provide generators and one thing and another, you're only going to do it in one place, not two.
Especially if because the next stage is that you've got your local CET which deals with most emergencies, but if it's a really critical affair, it will be whatever they call themselves, the Exeter Gold Team or whatever, that will come in and manage it.
If we're going to have
And you don't want that happening in the same place that people are making their cups of tea and feeding their babies.
Could I just say, Andrew, that meeting was a presentation to the parish council. We were all invited as parish council. Only two of us went.
Yeah, well, I was.
And as I said, I was the biggest critic of the last one. But one of the things, I think they created quite a big potential organisation to do. I think it's got a sprinkler on board. But also, I was disappointed that they didn't ask people on the parish council what we were doing already. You know, the fact is we're not numpties. We have been doing things over the last few years that other parishes don't do in return to emergency. And we got this anomaly snow. You know, bloody snow. He runs and drives the salt spreading and managing it and making sure we've got enough in stock and all that sort of thing. So, you know, there are things that they just didn't grasp. Can I just say one other thing?
There's a number of exclusions.
And one other thing I think they've got to understand is they've got to be inclusive when they're taking the whole thing forward. There are some assumptions about the shop will do this or such and such people will do this.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can actually do that. I think, for instance, if there's an emergency team, the shop must be on there somewhere. Because if you're going to raid the shop for food, you've got to have permission of the shop to do it. It might be a community shop, but it's still a business.
I think the problem is that whether this is based on an urban emergency plan off the shelf, but it certainly won't cover all of what we need.
What happened to the one that we used to have?
I don't know.
Because we used to have a booklet with us with it in.
did, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we did.
But then that was when we had the old village hall, and Trevor would say,
Yeah.
one of the reasons we had gas in the village hall is because the electric went off again.
That's right,
Didn't it?
yeah.
Well, 3 or 4 times, hasn't it?
So I missed something. Have we been circulating this?
We have, yeah.
All right, I'm way out of it. Sorry.
There it is.
No, I missed it.
No.
I missed it.
Trevor's going to talk to George about the young farmers. Any luck yet?
No, not yet. I've been scraping up to find water.
You've got this as an email.
His email. All right.
Yeah.
But back when, roughly? Parish Council, what is it?
Well, it was done fairly smart.
I'll forward it to you.
Thank you.
If I understand it, Chair, they're going to come to the next parish council meeting.
Well, there'll have to be another meeting of the committee, won't there, to sort out with some of the discussions.
You have one that's already printed off.
Was there a date put forward for the next meeting?
No, they want to work on it, and then when they're ready, they'll tell us.
No, then we want to be.
Hang on. So, some of the discrepancies that we,
Yes,
what are you going to do with them?
yeah, they're working on that now. Obviously, I've spoken to
Joe.
Joe.
We can't work on them because we haven't mentioned them yet.
Well, the things that you've got, the other things that you've got. Because if you have, you need to be feeding them into Joe or
That's
to
what I
me.
say, we need-
Yeah. You
I
need
thought
to
they
feed
might
them.
have another meeting,
Yeah.
so-
Yeah. Well, no, there's not going to be another meeting. No point in having another meeting. They want information. They're trying to build the framework and the people and the resources.
He's just
Just for me.
So if there's stuff about that first draft that you don't think is right, you need to tell me or Joe.
I know I wasn't that happy
Yeah.
to was out, but I did read the document, and I think we mustn't forget they are a group of volunteers.
Yeah.
Volunteers do the job,
Yeah.
and they did it very quickly.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is, after all, just the draft.
I'm not
That's
arguing with that for one
Yeah.
moment. Anybody that works as a volunteer for this parish council does extremely well.
It's very difficult to start from scratch with a blank
Yeah.
sheet of paper. And I always maintain that you just get something down on paper. It doesn't even matter if it's wrong. Even if you know it's wrong, because you just give somebody something to criticise or add to, and then you build from there. And I think what they did in 4 or 5 weeks is incredible, to be honest. They've done a very good job.
Okay. So all comments to you.
Yeah, I'd rather it came through me if possible, and then I know what's going on. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I feel
Yeah,
lost-
it's got to go through.
lost touch.
Got to go through clerk.
and then I can pass it on to them.
Yeah, you could moderate the language
Yeah.
and everything else as well. Yeah. Okay. DFIB you've dealt with, as regards purchase, you're happy with where it's going? You've sorted out power, ready to rock and roll. Right, members' reports. Who wants to stick with Paul Road? George?
There was someone, but still at the back of me made, I can't remember.
Come back to it in a minute. Barbara?
Yes, this is really to you, Pat, I think. I went to a shop meeting. They need to replace their box outside the front door where they take in the bread and things that are delivered early in the morning. And it's got into bad repair and they're going to have to replace it.
Yeah.
They know we give them a grant anyway to help with their... they wondered if there were any other grants, and I'd rather put my hand up perhaps too quick. And I did think that a few months ago, when we were talking about grants, that you, Pat, said there were some grants on offer from TGC, small grants for
Yeah,
people.
yeah. There's always something somewhere. If you'd like me to look into it, I'll do that. Yeah.
Would you please? Sorry?
How much is it?
I think to replace the one that they've got would be about £900. Yeah, it was. I was quite surprised how expensive it was.
Isn't it? Is it gold plated?
It's a lot.
Is it the big one?
Yes.
Can we afford that? Pat,
Pardon?
can we afford that?
We could.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot
for a box.
Yeah, because you see them in
We can get an 8x6
the
garden
plastic,
shed for
aren't
that.
they? Yeah.
I think we should look for grant money first. That's what I always do.
Definitely.
I think we need some specifications on their requirements as well.
Yeah.
We'll have to write that.
I'll
Normal procedure.
That's an awful lot of money for
I'll talk to Marie. Is Marie the right person to talk to, Barbara?
Sorry?
Is Marie the right person to
Maria
talk to?
would be the person to speak to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Anything else, Barbara?
Yes, I could have brought it up earlier, but I'll bring it up separately now. Peter Gayton, I saw him this morning, and he has, doing something in his house, he has 2 bookcases, and he didn't know whether we wanted to put them in the telephone box, and I said, well, I think that's all taken care of. And he wondered if he could put them in the telephone, the bus shelter, now that the defibrillator isn't in there, and he's got some books that can go on them so that people could help themselves. And I did say, well, we're doing that in the thing anyway. But he said, well, these were another 2 that were just going begging. He would put them up and he would supply some of the books. I said I would pass it on.
Obviously, for the bus shelter, you need shelves that are kind of this wide and 6 foot high.
Yeah, I think
Is that
these
what
were
they are?
quite wide, but he said they would fit.
You know what happened last time?
Yeah.
When we started putting stuff in there, the parish thought it was the recycling centre.
Yeah, I agree with Trevor.
Everything went in
really
there.
good idea,
God, did it?
but they'll get out and that bus yard will be full of junk in a fortnight.
But it was they did use it as a kind of swap over thing.
Would they be any good for the church? I mean, there's lots of books on the church, isn't there?
They tried that because there used to be a bookcase up there,
Right.
but it got too down.
What do you call when she was parish councillor? She tried, didn't she?
Right.
They went down to Butte, God, things.
Sure.
Shirley tried it.
Okay, so nobody's got a purpose for them at the present moment.
No, that's-
Well, I said I would let him know because he said he would put them out for the recycling if they were wanted.
Why do they advertise them?
I'll just say we don't think it's a good idea.
Somebody will like it.
They're dear to make.
It'll be gone in 2 seconds. Or
Yeah.
Yeah, you put some outside there for free.
Somebody doubt themselves. Yeah. A large pothole outside of Marge Babb's old house. If you have to pull in because something's coming down, you drop in it. It's quite a big one. Also one on
What's the
Bowden
name of the house,
Corner.
Barbara? What's the name of the house?
Leicester. It's
Leicester.
opposite the church tower.
I think it's time that we individually dealt with potholes. It's quite easy to do on the Devon County website because it gives you a map when you get into it for potholes, road repairs. You follow the map and you mark the spot.
X marks the spot.
And that's it. And it puts it up as a repair being done or a pothole. And if 10 people do it, then it shows that 10 people have reported it. And the more people who report it, the quicker they'll get it repaired. And I think we all should be using that, not Pat, but all of us individually shouldn't be festering in with potholes. We should be going onto that Devon website and dealing with it ourselves.
Can I
It's
ask
called-
every councillor then, please, to report the pothole and our public?
Yeah, but it's easy to use, Barbara. It really, you couldn't have anything easier than doing that one. So you've got one outside Marge.
Yeah, one right outside of Marge's house. I'm surprised you haven't hit it.
I think I know the one I keep going around there. And one up Bowden Cross.
Yeah.
There's 2 or 3 up there.
2 or 3 on Bowden Cross, which is you come round if you're coming back from Bideford. You want to go.
I'm hoping this road closure on the
First of
First.
August or whatever it is.
is for pothole repairs from Bowden Cross to Hoopers
Well,
Wood.
they say from Brownsville, don't
From
they?
Brownsville, yeah.
Oh, that'll
So
go
that
on.
would be,
Come in.
he would come in at then. you know.
Yeah.
That should deal with all of them, man.
Yeah,
We will see. Watch this space.
yeah. Right.
But it is, as I say, it is easy to use that website, ever so easy, because you just follow the road, brings you up a big map, and you mark your spot.
As long as you mark the spot in the right
they do look at it, and the more people that do it, the more that the quicker their response is. Anything else, Bob?
No, that,
Okay. Trevor? I
Um,
know you've got one item.
right.
I spoke to Eric this afternoon.
Oh, yes, good job you reminded me. It's the transport on Village Green. They aren't parking according to the lines, and they still block. You know, the other day, excuse me, big van down the hill on the one on the side there, and he's halfway across the entrance, and he's out over the line this way. The Arrows is like that. Can't people, well, they shouldn't be driving if they can't see the white lines. The way they park, they abuse the system.
I know.
yeah.
And he had to drive over the green to get in there with his A-turner to go and turn the grass. And it, you know, it's just unbelievable how these people park there. Whether we need, well, blanket all off so they can't park there, then that will be the, it's just crazy.
Could try more road markings, you know, like put a yellow box there or something.
I honestly
But-
don't know what we can do.
I don't know,
No.
it's just that one, it's the one white line, you know, he's out from the edge and they think
Yeah.
they can park each side of that white line. I think that's,
We could try getting a hatched area.
Yeah. So I mean, a hatched box.
Yeah, hatched box, yellow if need be.
Yeah.
that will upset the residents of the parish.
Yeah, just,
We can't have it always.
yeah.
No.
If there's a problem, which there is, because I've seen vehicles there several times parked across the lane. And as you say, Eric ended up driving his tractor up onto the village green to get past the vehicles. And luckily, it's dry weather. I wouldn't want that down
That's
there
right.
in the wet weather.
No.
I don't know.
Well, I put something on the website almost, you know, every other month about parking on the village green. I don't know what else I can do really.
Any other suggestions? Anybody?
Well, we don't want those yellow lines or yellow crosses, I mean, but people are entitled to go back to work, you know, to get down the lane if you can't. It's just,
We've got to do something.
yes, you've got to do something.
Yeah, it's people's homes down there as well as everybody working down there.
Yeah, you've got to do something.
So what you really want is like hatch markings there from the, on the back of that,
From the lane, coming
yeah.
forward.
Right,
no
right up
parking
to the,
sign?
you know, one of the lines is parallel to the fence, to the hedge.
yeah,
The yellow line's got to come right up to the back of that white mark.
yes,
Because
because sometimes what
that-
I've seen doing is they park in that bay, and then another car parks in behind.
Yeah.
right behind it, yeah.
We'll have to work out exactly what, but in principle, do you want the hatched? Yellow or white, whichever you prefer, hatched area.
I think, Chair, that it sounds a good idea, but my fear, I'll ignore that, it's a bit like, you know, people say to us, the parking in the village. I mean, I've had one farmer complain to me about bringing lorries down to the village's farm, it's just like, you know, the dodgers at the fair coming down to the village. And, yeah, you can put double yellow lines, you do all sorts, but unless somebody's enforcing it, well,
Nothing's going to happen.
that's the problem.
I'm well aware of that, Jim.
Hmm?
You're going to have to drive your torrent to see how bad it is with it for the village.
I mean, by all means try it, but I just think they'll just go on ignoring it.
The trouble is
Yeah.
that the people that ignore the lines that are there already are probably the people that will ignore whatever lines you put down. That's the trouble.
Yeah,
You know, some people, if they see a rule, they just like to break it.
Oh,
So-
exactly.
they know that there's nobody. I was going to raise something about our PSO.
How far has this
I know.
gone?
When was the last time we saw our PSO?
Yeah.
Well, the only, yeah,
How about no parking sign? One no parking sign.
yeah,
On
but
the outside of the white
not
line.
no parking. I mean, we've already got that on the ground, haven't we?
There's a yellow no parking right the way across the front of the lane.
Isn't there?
Yes, of course, he's turning in.
Yeah.
You could put some of the bollards that we use, the no parking. see how that works.
What, movable cones?
Yeah.
Cones,
At
yeah.
least that you
We
can
try
try
to get
it.
into part of it properly then.
I think he'd
Well,
last
I
a
think-
day.
I think if you actually put something there, like a hatch mark and that, because I think people just, they see that bay there, so they park there, and they think, oh, we can get another one in behind there.
So,
Why don't we put some cones down for this?
I don't think it'll stay there, Jim, I think the kids will take all that. Can you and I have another look at it, even if
Yeah.
it's after the meeting? And
Yeah,
decide
we'll put our
whether we
heads
can do
together.
something or not?
And, well, one other thing, I'd just like to thank the contractors or whatever for throwing a lead more. I don't know if you've seen it the last day or two.
No.
It all been flailed, so there's plenty of
Good.
nice walking areas now. So
Good.
Yeah, that was Coles did that.
Cold has been up.
They're doing it more.
It means that Hicksy's got the plan working again,
yeah,
which is good. Okay, that it?
yeah, I think so. Hope so.
As I say, I had a meeting with Air Ambulance and we've agreed to do I'll mark out a five-a-side pitch up the top of the field. And I explained that we've got fitness gear to go in that corner. And he said, make sure when the fitness gear goes up, because we'll have a digger upper as well, that we do the same thing again and inform them that something's happening in the
Yeah.
field. As I say, he doesn't care how many emails he gets on the subject, as long as they are aware of
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah.
He said even when they come over the building site, they're always worried about loose bits of insulation and stuff like that flying around,
Yeah.
being sucked into the engine. A thought did occur to me that we talked about rubbish bins, but we haven't actually done anything.
Mm-hmm.
When he started talking about that, I started thinking of bits of paper and bottles from the kids that they throw about, and whether we need to get on and get a couple of bins down there to make sure we can pick that kit up.
But when the
Well,
helicopter's going to land.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, bins will fly around, whatever.
Well, we have a proper bin down near the.
Why do you want to put bins there in the first place?
Sorry?
Sorry, being a bit ignorant. Why would
Rubbish.
you want to put bins
It's
there in the
rubbish
first
bin,
place?
it's
Yeah,
rubbish.
rubbish bin. Why would you want to put rubbish bins in the playing field anyway? As it's a safety thing for helicopters.
As long as it's not moving, they're not worried. It's not, the bins are the problem. It will be the plastic bottles that get sucked up.
The jet engines.
Yeah,
And
but the bins will be flying around as well. They fix, are they?
What's that?
The bins are fixed, are they?
Yeah, just like the rest of the rubbish bins in the village.
Are they fixed, fixed down?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
It's something for the kids to put the bottles and crisp packets in and whatever else they've got, rather than just chuck them on the floor. Got to try and get them into a habit of picking it up.
Non-return flaps.
Yeah.
Would you like me to order some?
If you could.
Yeah.
Two of them, I think.
Two?
One
Two?
up near the school and one down at the gate.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, I've got to open that gate up, Jim.
That's all right.
I've done it.
You've done it.
Yeah,
Have
I've done it.
We got the new latch on it then?
No, not yet.
I've got that in the back of my car.
Yeah, I've
So
done
I've
it.
got to put a piece of timber in there.
Yeah, if you could put a return on it or
Yeah,
a latch or something, that would be good.
It's got agricultural hinges on it,
Yeah,
and because it's agricultural hinges, it leaves a gap
Yeah.
like that.
yeah,
And the hinge works like your back door
yeah.
with a maximum of a 4-inch gap. So I've got to fill that hole with some timber before I can mount it.
Okay.
Do we need a sign on the gate, like Phil, like you got on the other?
Well, we sell clothing, so
Sorry?
we sell clothing. Sign, board,
Yeah. Because we got a dog piece sign on the other.
yeah.
To be fair, I think most people keep that.
I think that's about all I've got.
only to say that I attended a strimming course last Thursday at South, and I spoke about the grants that they have for us, and we can apply for that £150, and they will pay for anything else that we think we need on top of that. So, we
Such as what? Like a strimmer?
edge cutter, trimming equipment, line. We need some signage just to warn people that you're strimming.
Need a list.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But just to say, really, I attended it, and she was very helpful. And the back lane down here, the one we're having trouble clearing, she will help pay for that.
Yeah.
If we need to get a contractor in to clear that once a year or twice a year, we can apply to her to have it paid for.
So we would employ the contractor and she would pay for it or reimburse us?
Well, yeah, they would help, they would finance
They
it.
put in a bid for
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
List of what we need.
Yeah.
But we'll,
There is,
Yeah.
where did I go, Little?
What we need.
There
Sorry,
are
through-
there are some forestry helmets, I think in Little, which are about half the normal price that you can buy them, because I bought one a couple of years ago. Helmet, face shield.
yeah, I know, we put the earmuffs on as well, yeah.
Do you want me to buy a couple?
Does it sound like a bad idea?
They're dirt cheap at the moment, but
Yeah.
they're in there.
Yeah.
You'll pay for them.
Yeah.
I just happened to see them the other day and I thought, okay, I'll buy a couple of them.
So just going on from that back lane,
Yep.
it's not September the 1st yet, whatever. What's going to happen if he's being over, in a minute it's going to be completely overgrown, not going to get down with any vehicle or whatever. We've had a problem with trimming the left-hand side around. Who's dealing with the overgrown branches and stuff? Are you dealing with that, Richard, or somebody else dealing? I don't, it's come,
Well, I wouldn't deal with that.
No.
I mean, I've cut the
so
grass
what's going to happen about it?
The only,
styles, but nothing big like that.
No, that's what I mean. You said mention back lane, I couldn't work it out.
No, it was just that we had talked about it and said how overgrown it had got in
Yeah.
the past. And
It's heavy-duty stuff, so
Yeah.
what is, September, next February the 1st when you can't do nothing, soon comes around in parish council time. What's going to happen to back lane? Because at the moment, in a minute, horses won't be able to go down. If you don't use it, you'll lose it.
well, we're gonna have to employ somebody to deal with it.
Yeah, but one side is owned by somebody on the right-hand side, we all know. The other side, at the moment you're saying that nobody knows who owns what.
Well,
To my detriment, the landowner got to do the road edges.
I mean, you've got three houses, well, certainly two houses in the grounds of the old vicarage.
Yeah, but they know who owns that,
yeah,
so they can be made to,
they're not an issue because
no,
that's,
but there is an issue there because they are thick stumps now growing out of it.
yeah, well, we will need to have a look, survey it, and then write to the landowners that we do know.
And the other side is kind of westward.
Yeah, Westwood Housing.
There's a
Well,
bit
in
of
that
Westwood
Yeah.
on one side, and the other bit is an enigma. I know who used to own it.
Yeah, fine, yeah, I've heard about all that, Andrew, so the parish council got to put their hand in their pocket,
I
if
think
nobody
they'll
owns it,
have to.
whatever, yeah, that's short bit. But Westward Housing, we should not have to do anything for Westward Housing, by law,
No,
they,
I'm not suggesting we do it.
right, by law, they have to do something. If
Yep.
they start palming us off like they have done,
Each landowner should deal with
Yeah,
his.
by law, they have to do that. So instead of trying to palm, which they've done it for the last I don't know how many years, they palmed us off, they got to be legally made to do it.
Yeah, well, it needs surveying. I'll have to go down and have a look, and then we'll draw.
Well, can we bring it up for, with all, I know you would,
this week.
fine, that's brilliant. So we bring it up next parish council meeting.
Yeah,
Because time's going to go on.
yeah.
And if we don't use it, and then you've got that car being parked at
Two
the
cars
entrance.
there,
eh?
right? Two cars there.
Two,
on
yeah.
the end.
Well, that is blocking a right of way, which is illegal. Now, one of them I know was only doing it because you have to pay parking fine or whatever, and it should not be blocking the right of ways. Huh? Well, you're not allowed, each house around the Westward Housing got a allotted parking slot, both sides, and you can't, you know, each house on the other side has got a lot of cars, so you can't park in that. So we find somewhere where to park, and it's parking stopping, obstructing a legal right of way, both ends.
Yeah, well, we know the other end.
Well, then we've
We need to.
put it on a back burner for yonks. If you
Well-
don't use it, you lose it.
I'll do a survey and then we'll have to write some letters, is all right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Probably,
the
Joe.
only way we can do it. We'll go down the legal route. Okay?
Pat, can you also look at our insurance? Make sure it's okay for me to use a strimmer?
Yeah, I will do.
And to use a hedge cutter?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Very good
You
point.
have to go on a training job.
That's all right.
I've done it.
Oh, it would.
When you did your course, did you come away with a certificate that said?
I will get a certificate, it will be sent to me.
Yeah, because I can send it off to the insurers.
We'll need
Yeah.
that for insurance.
Can you then become an instructor?
No,
Yeah, no, I can't be an instructor.
that's another job in itself. Okay, anything more, Jim? Jim?
Yeah, it really preambles the first 707A, the planning application. But there's a number of things I'm going to delve into, because one of the things we're worried about is within that planning application, the 2720s, the number of houses, social houses, there'll be 9 affordable houses, 7 for rent and 2 on shared ownership. Torridge are trying to find out who the housing association is, but I understand that Allison Homes are in negotiations with the housing association at the moment. That's all very encouraging, because clearly, if you look at, when we get to that, you look at that planning application, there are houses there that are clearly built as affordable houses. So keeping our fingers crossed, that's all going to plan, and that will be replicated in Brom's development. One of the things that we have to bear in mind is that TDC thought they got a 6-year housing supply, but that all came out when they challenged the Brewer development, Torrington, and the building inspector said they still only got 4.2 years. So, you know, this government formula is still a little Torridge something not beginning. That also raises questions about what's going to happen after 2031. And you've all noticed there's recently been a fishing exercise by Torridge to find out which landowners may be interested. This is not a plan application, may be interested in land in Torridge for further building. I think one of the things we need to do is really push hard now for the infrastructure development of this village in terms of Orley Hill, because there's a levy on the houses in Bromwell's land, Bromwell's development to widening points on Orley Hill, and also other issues that various members of the council have raised in the last few months regarding infrastructure. And I think we need to talk, because I think one of our biggest fears is Torridge and Devon County Council don't talk to one another. And as we know, neither do they talk to the water supplier, neither do they talk to how many times have we seen the electricity company come up, or somebody come up on water board with a 24-hour emergency to dig a hole, where in fact it's not an emergency, it's been planned for months. So I think we need to get to grips with that and ask our county councillor to have a look at what the county can do and will do, because prior to, I shall be on the parish council, but prior to 2031, I bet you're not there'll be some more housing development being asked in this village. And I think that's really, really important, that you take the gloves off now and have a go at our county councillors and district councillors, say this is really, really important, because we do
sorry, going on from that, Jim, the parish council ground, they own, is in the parish council development plan
Yeah.
down there. Has been put on abeyance. What's the parish council thinking of doing with that ground? Are they gonna go on to develop it or not, or what?
I think you made a very good point, George. I think we have to make a decision, keeping our fingers crossed, if the Bromwell and Chapel developments produce these affordable houses, because I think it's something like 17 altogether.
Yeah.
That's the biggest amount of affordable housing this village has ever produced in one go. You have to go back to post-war the Greenings, you know, in terms of the number of social houses that were built then in relation to the village. So that's, and you've got to ask yourself, well, what do we do with our 6 or whatever houses we want to build? And there has been quite rightly people have said, well, what we need is a Tucker's Park article. We do we need to move our emphasis away from affordable housing to what I call affordable housing, small bungalows for retired people. And, yeah,
It's gonna be socialised, isn't it?
yeah, it's got to be run, yes. It's not going to be sold, it's got to be sold. But I think, do we do that, or do we plough on with that? Because that's always been our mantra at the moment, that those houses would actually be social houses in terms of normal families.
But we skirted around it. We're 10 years, 15 years down the line, well, from when the first overall plan was dealt with, whatever. It's been in the idea, and David's on about social housing for a long time. So what are we going to, you need someone to drive it through if you're going to do something about it, not just let it in abeyance. I mean, what is the plan, what does everyone think?
We did ask, and I think Astor Homes,
Yes. They came up with this idea of the land and the trustees and all the rest of us. We own the land. Why do we need that?
That's right, we don't want to lose control.
Everybody wants to buy it and put it in a land bank for when they're ready. And the problem has been, Torridge want to build some social housing, but they haven't got their act together to know precisely what they want.
Well,
You see,
never mind Torridge.
No, it has to
Never
be.
mind Torridge.
No,
what
it
we
has-
want, no, what we want is a parish. Now, do
well,
the parish
hang
want to
on,
raise?
hang on,
No,
hang on,
no, hang
hang
on.
on.
You hang on.
No, hang on a minute, George.
What the parish? Do the
We
parish
can't
want to raise
build-
money for the parish, or do they want to completely put it on social housing?
We can't build as a parish council. Torridge can build, well, Torridge can build as a district council, but we can't. We have to go through Torridge, and we have to fit in with their plan to get the finance, or to get the people to do it. We can't just, we've tried going out and see if we can get anybody, and Asper turned us down.
I disagree with whatever.
Well,
Anyway, at the moment, it's just sat there, isn't it? So,
I think that's where it should stay, so
What's that?
fair enough then, if that's what you want.
What's that, Trevor?
that we hang on to it, because once we've used it up, what about our generations that's coming on? We shouldn't, it's the developers that are gobbling up all the land around the village and not putting enough back. That's where the problems stay.
Well, with great respect, Trevor, these developments are putting something back.
Yes, they are. I mean, you can't say
There's
that.
17 houses being built.
Well, that's how it should be, and there should be a lot more. That's what I'm saying, there's not enough, the developers, what did I see the other day? They make £65,000 profit on each house.
Well, I think they make more than that, Trevor.
Well, that's a hell of a lot to start with, if it's more than that.
All the developers-
You know, it's criminal, isn't it? It's, you know,
Okay. I'm getting nowhere with this.
Yeah, all I wanted to know was, what, are we going to keep it for the type of development you want? Are we going to maximise it for the parishioners? Or are we going to leave it in abeyance and do nothing?
I can't answer that now, and I have no.
That's fair enough.
Well,
You're not going to answer it tonight.
The one good
No.
sign on the horizon, Chair, is that Torridge and North Devon have now set up a joint exercise in which they're pursuing the idea of starting to build council houses again.
Yeah, I know they are. And that's the bit that matters, Jim. That we need
To be fair, whatever you think of Torrance and North Devon District Council, that's got to be encouraged. Because that's, you know, they're actually waking up to something that they should have done a long, long time ago.
Yeah, 20 years.
They got rid of their housing stock. They sold their housing stock to, and the people who live in them actually voted for it. Which I find absolutely amazing.
Okay.
All right, I thought I'd raise it, but certainly,
Anything else?
certainly, yeah, the other thing I was going to mention was we've not seen our PSO for a long time. Richard said she was wandering around the village, and there was a problem in the village in the last few days, but we've not seen her at parish council for a long, long time.
I thought we had an email a while back that she was going to
Yeah,
pop up the speaker.
we had an annual report by email, but
No, I
that's...
just thought she said she'd pop up the speaker.
She hasn't, as far as I know.
May have an answer.
Yeah, no,
I know that there was
yeah.
some problems in the village. Somebody asked me what to do. I said,
Yeah.
you get over it. That's how it is.
Okay. David?
No.
Can I just come back to mine there?
Very quickly.
Yeah, you got the water leak down on Glen Bridge still there, leaking away.
Bubbling up nicely, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah,
again.
it is bubbling up very nicely. So whether parish council could, Pat could do something to southwest.
No,
It
report
cost me
it again.
£6 to ring them last time.
Well, you have a letter from parish council also. Anyway, to do report that. And could we have it on the next month's agenda to discuss? We've been talking about trees in parish council fields and linked in with Thornleigh Moor and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
I don't know how far it's got, who's doing what or whatever. Too late to discuss it now. Can we put it on the agenda for next month?
Yeah.
please?
I don't know. At the present state of the economy, whether we should be planting any trees at the moment. It's food we want.
Quite agree with it, but that's why, can we have it? I don't know how far anything's got.
I haven't got anywhere with it, George.
Nowhere
To be
yet.
honest, I had too many other things on my plate.
Oh, that's brilliant.
But I
That's
can,
fine.
Hancock
On
Park.
where I was coming from is like, why have you got people who want to use it and farm it in small ways around here,
Yeah.
and you got 120 acres out in Thornleigh Moor, fit for nothing. It can be put for trees out there. Why use up the small, good ground stuff around the village for trees and stuff?
Yeah.
In 40 years' time,
Right,
where you
put
get
it
the
on the
benefit?
agenda. All right, enough. Put it on the agenda. Talk about it next time. That would be all right with me. Planning. Application, land adjacent to water close to reserve matters, application for appearance, landscaping layout. Go soon for outline planning commission, direction of 27 dwellings. Anybody had a look?
Yeah,
Comments?
fine.
The only comment I've had, funnily enough, was just before this meeting, about access to this here site.
Well, they go down to already close, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Yeah.
There's a big set of gates gone up in,
David,
Woods,
is it possible to
Street
get onto
side,
the planning
Holy
portal
Close.
here? I'm not sure how to do it.
what, up there?
chapels.
What, right at the end?
Big white gates, about that wide, 2 gates.
9 years ago.
I haven't been
And, well, that field, or down beside Brian's, you know, the east road goes down across
Well,
there.
the road goes directly across the building site.
Tis all Harris fence up beside the lane and along the top here. And there's a big
Oh, there we
gap
go.
now in the hedge out into Bromwell's.
Yeah, because that's where they're going to access. What they're going to do is they're going to build Bromwell's first, then they're going to build chapels afterwards. Because they're not going to go into the site through South Meadow, they're going to go down Orange Lane.
Oh, thank you. All right. I have my own link to that.
That's been
I don't have to go through that route, and I didn't know how to do it. Thank you.
There was a big lorry had a job to get round out with the pub Monday.
Traffic, cars,
Mm.
I think there's
Well,
probably
that's
some
level,
stuff, isn't there, for MGL,
Pardon?
MJ was one or another, in it, the developer.
Well, irrespective of that, is everybody happy with the plan?
Yeah.
Yes?
You're supporting that one, are you?
Looks like it. B is an application land at Silkwood Farm Reserve matters, application for access, appearance, landscaping layout, scope and simply outline, application erection of one agricultural workers dwelling.
Yeah, no
No
problem.
problem.
C, application 12 order close single story extension to the rear of the property.
No problem.
No problem.
No comments?
There's a quite a few of them.
Yeah, no problem.
Reapplication of a barn at grid reference, two-story, single-story barn conversion, turning and parking amended red edge. I must admit I haven't looked at that.
We
Yes,
supported it last
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not,
You
it's
did,
not a
yeah.
problem. It's
Was
just a,
that Orley?
yeah,
Yes,
just a
it's just
planning.
sewage works, it's just a change
Yeah.
of sewage.
Yeah.
Decision on 19 Telford Meadows proposed extension and alterations granted permission. Tomorrow proposed first floor extension to dwelling granted permission. On Castle College's retrospective permission for cladding within a conservation area granted permission. That's all the planning.
Well,
Settlement.
they're in, you sent us one in the last, 24 hours, didn't you?
Yes, I've got
And asked us whether we...
an extra, but there's another item on here. Settlement sustainability survey.
Settlement sustainability survey. we've
Yep.
done that.
Oh, have we done that? We've done that already.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, we've done that. No. Yep. Yes,
The
this.
last bit is accounts, receipts and payments.
No, we've got this one came in today.
Can I finish?
Oh, sorry.
Pat has asked whether we can put in this other application that's come in.
Yeah, it's a question of do you want to do that now, or do you want an extra meeting, or
No, do it, mate.
Do it now.
Do it now.
yeah.
It's virtually identical to the one that the Travis Brothers got, isn't it? Like, more or less. built it like
It's
that.
where it is that worries me, Jim. It's out in the middle of nowhere.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it's building out in the countryside again in the middle
You
of
got
nowhere.
buildings there already, what's wrong with that?
Well, it's an agriculture.
Creates jobs.
They changed the law, didn't they? I mean, Richard was
Johnny
the first
Tubbs.
one, I think Richard
What
was
is
the
this
first one to do
anyway?
it.
I haven't
He-
seen
he-
it.
he-
Brendan.
I've just
Oh.
looked at it and I can't say that I'm thrilled with it being where it is.
Where is it?
It's converting them.
It's John Tucker's ground up,
Oh, brilliant.
Brennan.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
I've got it here.
Yeah.
I didn't pick that up, I think.
It's it.
The government changed the law.
But is it in Buckland? It's not in...
Well, I asked that.
No, it is in Buckland.
It's just,
Just right on the road, isn't it? The lane that goes
It goes
in,
up
it's
there, yeah.
the
That's,
boundary.
must be nearly on the boundary, David, between Parkham and Buckland.
There's a picture up
The
there. If you
Bailey's
can
in
make
Park.
out where it is.
Yeah.
There's the lane.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
didn't think it was in, but it was in.
Well, I was surprised. Brendan's in Buckland, is he?
Brendan,
Yeah. Well, it's just between Brendan and
Yeah.
the wind turbine.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, down that little lane, it was up to...
Yeah.
Yeah. No, right, okay.
Who's with Bailey Barn,
It's a shed, it's meant to
I
convert,
can't
yeah.
access my
So that's,
computer, so I can't get it on.
That's what the government did, they changed the law.
Well, that's what they said, yeah.
You've still got
Change
justified.
of use of agricultural building to
not
number
well, you've still got
one, dwelling house and
justified.
associated building.
They haven't too much now, have they? That we can put in.
That's
Not
good.
seen- Not seen any bargain price.
Agricultural building at Beverly Barton.
Baby barn.
Brendan Clee is the actual physical address. Although the
That's
planning
right.
bit says Bailey Barn, it's not at Bailey Barn.
No, it's not. But the farm, well, Baby
It
Barn
used to
owns
be,
it.
or,
They own it,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's very deceptive what they put in.
Only just in it. It's like top of Bowden Cross and bottom of Bowden Cross.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Keep
grand
the old
cleave
card
is
in
what they
it,
call it.
It's got to look like a
Right,
ship.
yes or no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
Over to you, Pat.
Didn't I see that was up
Thank
for
you.
sale?
What have I got
Didn't
here?
I see that was up for sale?
Grown towards Brennan Farms.
Yeah,
Not that.
no, not that bit.
Thank you.
Oh, I was looking at before.
John was farming that one.
Hmm?
John farmed that a bit for a year or two.
Oh yeah, when he bought the ground.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your bank balances, etc. We've got nearly £19,000 in the general account at the moment, nearly £8,000 in the Thornhill Head, and 47,300 in the savings account. 55,000 of that is identified as your general account monies, and about 19,000 is the Thornhill Head fund. And then just below that, you've got the payments that are going out this month. And I've just added one more check-ins, which is not on that list, and that is to Andrew for building the beacon. Well, it's for the materials for the beacon. I think, Andrew, you've offered your time.
All right.
You've offered your time for free.
It's at cost, yeah.
Yeah.
We're not legally allowed to charge for it anyway.
Yeah. So that's another £232.63.
Literally for the steel and the welding.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, why have we been lumbered with the legal requirement for the school wanted, 940 quid from Slee Backwell? Why have the parish council been lumbered with that? That should be the school.
Please don't say that to me, George. Because I said that 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was agreed.
We did agree with
It was agreed that we would pay it.
No, we wouldn't.
Yes, we did.
Well,
we
yeah,
did.
I'm afraid.
We weren't expecting £940.
Yeah, we.
Oh, no, I
didn't need
actually-
it. We didn't need it to be altered. They wanted it altered.
It's actually £1,600. We've already paid 600.
We've done our bit then.
We paid
So I don't-
600
I don't
but
see that at
2
all.
years ago.
I don't see that at all. We've done our bit.
Can we, I mean, people are, what strikes me is people that don't come to the parish council meeting from the general public. They have this image of the parish council and the vicar of Dibley. You might have, but they do.
I can imagine they do.
That's what they think we are.
Yeah, yeah.
I got that impression when I went to this emergency meeting. They think we're under carrot tops,
Numpty.
don't know what we're doing,
No.
and, you know, we're not the experts, and we don't know. We're doing as much as Bideford Town Council in Buckland Brewer Parish.
Yeah, we do.
And sometimes I think, you know, parents of the school ought to appreciate that
Yeah.
we're actually paying that money. I'm not
Exactly.
saying we're not going to pay the money, but thank you, Parish Council, you've actually paid the money.
You're
But-
asking a lot, you are.
No, I'm not.
You are.
I'm not.
You've got no chance of appreciation.
No, I'm just.
Sorry,
it's not
Andrew, no, I
appreciation.
agree with
It's
Jim.
telling
I know what you want.
Well,
I know exactly
Yeah.
what you want, and all you'll get is a line that
It-
Pat puts on his report to the website, and they'll look at that and go, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Through the chair, there was only 6 words that needed altering. We didn't need it.
No.
Landowners, parish clerk, church, it was only this, because them education, they picked up, there's no need for it at all. So why should we pick up 900 quid for bill for that long?
To start, hang on, to start with, we weren't expecting 900 quid.
No.
We thought we were going to pay about 150 quid and the job will be done. And it's all this messing around with the school and one thing and
No,
another.
it was the Devon County State Legal.
I know, but they haven't helped it.
Well,
It's listeners, isn't it?
No, David, no, everybody, it's like developers, everybody hammers solicitors and developers, no. They are only doing what they're instructed.
George,
Yeah.
George, I
Yeah.
agree with you, and I can understand your frustration. But at the end of the day, we're both big enough and said, sod it, we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
And I think what we've got to get across to the parishioners is that that's the attitude this parish council takes. Let's get it done, we'll pay for it.
Quite agree.
And all I'm saying is, I know the chair's got a Jones's view, but it's nothing like putting a little article, ends up in the village scene on the website saying, the school have now got their land, it's been a long time getting there, the parish council's sweating tears to bring all parties together, getting it done, and we've ended up paying some of the legal bills. And let people know what we do.
Well,
I don't want this minute. They've had all the ground given them, the village all given them, all that area, and it was not our to pay for anything. It's only 6 words, 3 words wanted altering on that, and we didn't need it at all.
I think we
Like an
agreed to
outrageous.
pay the legal costs at the very beginning.
I argued right at the beginning that I felt that the Devon County Council should pay all of the
We
legal
did,
costs,
yeah.
and I asked for that. And the agreement was in the end that we would pay our own legal fees. So this is just our legal fee for Slee Blackwell, and Devon County have paid their own fees through their county solicitor. So we haven't had to pay for their solicitor, but we have had to pay for our own.
I think, as I say, originally we thought it would be 150 quid and the job would be done, didn't we?
Well, originally it was going to be the back of an envelope, and somebody said, well, you can't do that.
We've got no choice.
And that was me,
Pay for
unfortunately.
show. I mean, you can have a word with Jamie if you like, if you want to put something in on the website
Like what?
I'll talk to Pat about it.
to explain how much it's cost and the fact that we provided it for the school.
But the kids really.
Wouldn't be a bad
It's
idea.
like it's our rate.
For all that.
Sorry, David, I missed that. What did you say?
I said, kids are really, happy that they're using it.
Oh, goodness me, yeah. I mean, it's old generation, may want to use it.
They was about to have their sports today, wasn't them? But they had to cancel it because of the COVID.
I'm afraid you've got to,
It's homework, the lawyer.
sometimes you've got to pay up and shut up. Let's reach that stage of that. But it's over.
Yep.
Let's just put it to one side, it's over.
I'm still incandescent.
I will minute, George, that you brought that up.
Thank you.
The bottom line on there is John Coles did the topping
Yeah.
of Thornhill Headmore.
Yeah.
Can I?
And when I was at the SLCC conference a couple of months back, I bought 2 or 3 books.
Yeah.
Not really for me, but knowing that there was a new parish clerk coming in, so the 2556 is really to benefit. Yeah, absolutely. Didn't cost a lot.
The new ones are about 75 pounds.
Yeah, I think that's even more expensive now than the Bakers, whatever it's called. Yeah.
I take it the other bills for
No, we're up to date with those. Yeah, we're up to date. We will expect another one at the end of this year. I hope, yeah.
Is this the recent play then Colt has done? Right?
Yeah, this is what they did at the end of June. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Could I have a proposer and a seconder for the list?
yeah.
It was then I wanted, 'cause I couldn't print.
Lovely, thank you very much. Oh, and there's just a couple of little bits of income that have come in. Some allotment rent and deposit. I'm still waiting for one person to pay for their other half of plot 11.
There was
And
something about the allotments last meeting or whatever. Was that resolved? That somebody was going to, 2 people were going to go in? That's all dealt with. All up and
did you speak to them,
what
Trevor?
You wanted somebody to have an extra one or something, Pat?
Well, we had found 2 people to take on plot 11.
All right.
And there was just a bit of confusion about when they should take it because Trevor,
We're still taking stuff out.
well, had told me it was vacant and then wanted to still use it for a bit.
Yeah, it was
You were going to speak to them about, was it the soft fruit?
It was oak bushes and fruit farm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was all resolved, was it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. They're still there anyway. Now,
Oh,
so,
well, that's right.
yeah.
The other bit on Longmans was the water board, that we had up, and when electricity,
Making profits is not a water board, Andrew.
beg your pardon?
It's a water company making bloody profits, it's not a water.
Well, it's still a water board.
Keeps the world going round, Jim.
I used to do work for George, so what they did was the electricity board came up when they put the cable up through the road, and the tap, or the tap, was left in the corner of the square box,
Oh, right.
so you couldn't
Couldn't,
actually
yeah,
turn it.
yeah.
So they had to reposition it.
Yeah.
And hopefully they've raised it up enough so the water doesn't pour it in. But it took a long while.
Yeah.
Do you know if people are using the water, Richard?
Yeah, I saw people using it today.
Yeah.
Excellent.
No problems with it?
Someone's gone up there and put some bricks down as well, so there's a nice flat area.
Oh, right. Oh, that's good.
And a dog bowl.
Oh, good idea. Yeah.
Well, if somebody-
I mean, there is
if
one
somebody-
thing with that. It's a dirty disgrace outside in the car park with, you know, they just tipping peelings or shreddings and stuff. And, you know, I know we got a pile of stone in the corner there, which doesn't help really. Well, it's
What are we going to do with that? I was going to ask that. What are you going to do with that?
We
The
had
stone.
it to,
Stone, yeah.
what was doing the lane.
we had it to do the lane.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
I mean, it's ours, we paid for it.
Yeah, no problem. I just,
It can go anywhere we want,
Yeah, yeah.
because they've played around with the lane now, haven't
Yeah.
they?
they've done someone.
Well, it could go in back lane,
Yeah, you can come back there, couldn't
there's no reason.
Once you trim it.
Yeah, but back lane could do with a bit of tidying up, there's no reason why it couldn't go in there.
Well, I agree, but there's no point tidying it up until somebody
No,
gets it.
I'm
Yeah.
not arguing with that.
Yeah,
What I'm saying is we can improve back lane by using that stone.
yeah.
In answer to your question about the chippings, there's been some weed killing around some of the trees up there, and those chippings are going to go around the trees, so they will be moving.
Oh,
It will be moving. That's what it's.
Loader and shovel them all up, but
That's fine. It will be moving them. We've got another maintenance day coming up, and they'll be moved then.
they originally put them in the gateways, and it could do with the load stopping in the gateways now, so that they're just good enough for the winter. Yeah. Okay. Everybody's happy, nothing else at all?
Not from me.
Could I, sorry to ask one question, what's happened to our sign that was going up at 4L life display signs?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I will get onto it.
Where was the one I was writing?
You want some signatures for that?
Sorry? Oh, yes, it's all, the signatures
No,
on.
not that, you checked or anything?
Oh, yes, please, yeah. Lots of checks there.
Somebody like to volunteer?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Let me just note this down.
And then,
9.
ladies and gentlemen,